Hi, I'm Quinn, and this is Open Awareness Yoga. Today we'll need a few props like normal. So if you don't have yoga blocks, grab 2 hardback books that are about the same height. Grab some strap of some sort. This is an old tie. You might have a rope tie or a, what is it called? Robe tie, dog leash, anything. And a bath towel or a firm blanket. We'll be using this towards the end of class. So you can set your towel and your tie aside. And just make sure that you have a book near the head side of your mat. And then come to lay on your back with your knees bent and the soles of your feet on the floor in what we call active rest position. And bring the arms, palms face up along the side of your body. And feel the indentation that your body is making into the floor beneath you. Adjust your feet, the distance that they are away from your hips so that your legs feel comfortable. There should feel an even weight in the toes and in the heels. And you may play around and experiment with this a little bit. And as you let your body release and relax into the floor, notice your natural breathing rhythm. And today we're starting class with a sensing somatic practice. And my philosophy is we must first be very honest with ourselves about where we are, what we feel, our actual experience as it is today, not what we hope it will be or what we wish it was, but the truth and an acceptance of where we're starting. And from that point, we can make change, lasting change. Now, catching the wave of your breath, you'll begin pelvic tilting. That means as you exhale, you'll press your low back flat into the earth beneath you, rocking your pelvis backwards. And as you inhale, you'll arch your low back away from the earth beneath you, rocking your pelvis forward. Moving with your breath here, exhaling to flatten, inhaling to arch. Use as little effort as possible. Soften the skin behind your eyes. Soften your forehead. Relax your brain. And notice what is sliding short and what is sliding long as you tilt your pelvis in this way. It's not a very big movement. See if you can pick up on the way the top side of your body, that's the skin of your belly, and the back side of your body relate to one another. So as the back side of the body slides long, can you notice the front side of the body slides short? And vice versa. As the back side of the body slides short, the top side of the body slides long. Just a few more moments here. And find stillness somewhere in the middle. And then roll on to one side. Whatever your bottom arm is, slide it underneath your head for a little pillow for the head. And do your best to line up the back of your head, shoulders, and the buttocks. And bring your knees directly in front of your hips and your heels straight down from your knees. Then place your top hand right on the hip. And again, we're noticing the sliding short and sliding long now of this top side of the body, which is your top waist, and the bottom side of your body, which is your bottom waist. And we'll move again with the breath. As you inhale, press that pelvic half on the top away from you. Gentle pressure with your hands so you're lengthening that top side waist, shortening the bottom side waist. As you exhale, slowly release, coming back to a neutral. Then explore with your own breath cycle. Inhale to press the hip away, lengthening the top, shortening the bottom, and inhaling to return back to where you started. Maybe even closing the eyes to pick up on that sensation. Notice if your movement feels jerky or smooth. Just noticing. This part is all about sensing. Take one more round here. And then you'll roll over onto your other side. So you can just flip onto your back and then all the way over. And slide that bottom arm underneath your head and line up your head, shoulders, and buttocks. Knees in front of the hips, heels directly beneath the knees. Bring your top hand to your top pelvic half. And then continue on this side. As you inhale, you lengthen the top side waist. And as you exhale, you return back to the starting position. Notice how the top side body and the bottom side body relate. That conversation that they're having. These aren't very big movements. There's a lot of data to pick up about ourselves here. A lot to come to know. One more round here. And then you'll come to lie back on your back. Knees bent, feet on the floor, just as you began. Take a few more rounds of that pelvic tilting. Your exhale breath flattens the low back, shortening the top side of the body. Inhale breath arches low back, shortening the bottom side of the body. Maybe now it's a little bit easier to get a feel for what is sliding long, what is sliding short. Maybe that still feels mysterious and quite confusing to you, and that's okay too. Anything that's new takes time to learn. All right, find some stillness here so that you feel neutral in the low back. The sacrum, that's the bony part of your low spine, is flat on the floor, and the pubic bone is parallel to the ceiling. Feet hips width distance apart. Press down into your feet and breathe. Now, as if you were walking, we're going to alternate sides. Press down into your right foot and reach the right knee straight in front of you, as if you were bringing it down the center of the foot. And then switch sides. Press into the left foot, reach the left knee in front of you. Let your hips rock and move here. This is just as if you were walking while lying on your back. Switching sides, right and left. Free the hips. And in this more complex movement, can you notice what is sliding short and what is sliding long? Just a few more moments here. And come back to center. Let's bring your hands to your outer hips, okay? So just excuse my device there. Bring your hands to your outer hips. Press down into your feet and attempt to drag them apart without moving them along the mat. Then release that. Did you feel something wake up underneath your hands? If not, adjust the position of your hands and then do it again. Press down into the feet, attempt to drag them apart without moving them, and feel for an engagement underneath the hands. You're finding your TFL, the outer hip muscles, and release. One more time, press down, pull the feet apart. This time, lift the hips into the sky. Keep pressing the feet down into the ground, pull them apart, feel those outer hips engage. One breath in, and as you exhale, lower your hips down to the ground. Lengthen your legs long, bringing the feet together if that's comfortable in your body. Otherwise, feet or hips width distance apart. Grab one of your books and hold it between the palms. We'll come up closer to the camera so you can see. Holding the book between the palms. Bring that book straight up into the sky. Pull your toes back towards your face. Reach out with your heels and feel your legs engaged. Reach your tailbone between your heels. As you inhale, lengthen your arms overhead. They might not reach the floor, and that's okay. Now notice the length in your side waists. Lift your arms further behind you, or rather reach the arms further behind you. Feel your waist growing even longer. Now breathe into your back ribs. So you feel your back ribs sliding away from your low back. Legs are engaged here. Side waists are long. Take a couple more breaths in and out. Keep those legs engaged as you inhale. Bring the hands back up towards the sky. And exhale, release the book off to the side. Bend your knees. Roll onto one side and come into tabletop. Hands and knees. Spread your fingers wide. Hands directly underneath the shoulders. Knees underneath the hips. A few rounds of cat-cow here. As you inhale, drop your belly, lift your heart, and lift your hips. As you exhale, round your spine, tucking your tail under, tucking your chin into your chest. Continue with this movement, noticing again what is sliding long and what is sliding short. Notice how the top side and bottom side of your body relate to one another. And see if by noticing this, it changes the way you experience your cat-cow. Take one more round. And end in a neutral spine. Crawl the hands forward, curl your toes under, and find a plank pose. Press down into your hands, reach back with your heels, and grow your side waists long. One breath in. Exhale, lift your hips up to the sky, downward facing dog. Let's walk it out. Bend your right knee, let your right hip drop, and switch sides. Bending the left knee, let the hip move along with it. Walking it out like you did on your back, right to left, in your own time, at your own pace. Noticing the movement or lack of movement you might feel in the hips. Bend both knees evenly, look between your hands, and walk your feet forward towards the hands. Bend your knees, hang down low. Take a few deep breaths. The spine is flexed. Spine is rounding. Now look up and find your 2 books or 2 blocks. Place one in each hand. Place them on the ground in front of your feet, shoulder width distance apart. As you inhale, lift your torso up halfway. Straighten the spine. If the backs of your legs are very tight, bring the feet further apart and bend the knees slightly. Press down into the feet, attempt to drag them apart. Feel those outer hips engage. And then lengthen the side waist. Reach your sternum forward. Arda Uttanasana is the name of this pose. Breathe. I'm going for lengthen those side waists. Now toe heel the feet so that they're hips width distance apart. Let the books go. Bring your hands to your hips. Pull your elbows together behind your back, and as you inhale, slowly come to standing. Exhale, release your hands down by the side of the body, Tadasana. Gazing straight ahead, chin parallel with the earth. Take a slight bend in your knees, and we'll do a few roll downs. So we're going to be bending from the spine here, and we're going to feel how it's different from bending from the hips in a moment. So tuck your chin into your chest, knees slightly bent. Begin to roll down vertebra by vertebra. Let the arms hang off of you. Feel each of your spinal bones moving one at a time, all the way down into the low back as you come furthest down into the shape that you will. Then press down into the feet, drop your tail down, and roll back up. Stacking one vertebra on top of the other. The head is the last thing to arrive. Avoid locking your knees. Do this again. Chin comes to the chest, roll down. Luxuriate in this movement. Let it feel good. Notice what is shortening, what is lengthening. Roll back up in your own time. There's no rush. We'll do 3 of these total. And whenever you finish, you'll just come back to standing, close your eyes, and observe. Take a few deep breaths. And blink your eyes open and find one of your books. Just as we did on the floor, you'll hold that book between your hands, standing in your Tadasana shape. Bring the arms straight out in front of you, shoulder height. Slight bend in your knees. Press down through the feet, attempt to drag them apart, engage those outer hips. And as you inhale, bring the arms overhead. We've been in this shape before, just lying on your back. Inhale into the back ribs and feel these low back ribs lifting up off of the waists. Reach up with the book, especially the pinky fingers, and feel both sides of your waist lengthen. So we're strengthening the outer hips. And then we're lifting the ribs out of the hips with the strength of the arms. One more breath in. Keep that length in your waists. As you exhale, bring the hands back in front of the shoulders, arms parallel to the floor. And then release the book to the ground. We'll do that without the book. Inhale, lift your arms overhead. Lengthen the side waists. Exhale, bring your hands to your hips and fold halfway down. Don't bring the hands down to the ground, just make an L shape with your back. Bend the knees if you need to. As you inhale, come back up to standing. And we'll make karate chop shapes with our hands, so just like hi-ya, palms face up. Bring those right into the creases of your hips. Working here with it, bending with a flat back. So instead of rounding the spine as we just did, we'll leave the back nice and long. Inhale. And as you exhale, hinge right over those karate chop hands without letting the back round. Inhale, come back up to standing. You might need to bend your knees if the backs of your legs are forcing your back to round, and try that again. As you exhale, hinge over your hips, spine stays long. As you inhale, come back up. And one more time, we'll hold it. Exhale, come halfway down. Grow your sternum long. Lengthen through the side waists. Press down into the feet, attempt to drag them apart. Feel those legs turn on. One breath in. And as you exhale, bend your knees as much as you need to plant your hands down to the ground. Step back into plank pose. Bring your knees down to the ground and hold. Press down into the hands. Feel that strength lifting up into your shoulders. Reach your sternum forward between the hands. And then grow those side waists long. Inhale. As you exhale, lower all the way down to your belly. Point back through the tops of your feet. Inhale, lift your chest off the earth. Roll your shoulders back. Exhale, press up into tabletop, hands and knees. Curl your toes under and find downward facing dog. Breathe here. Or rest in child's pose if you need it. Notice the length in your side waists. And notice if there is an even length in the belly side of the body and the back side of the body. Or is something sliding short and something sliding long? Make little micro adjustments to feel like there's an evenness in all four sides of your waist. Front, sides, and back. Look between the hands, bend the knees, walk your feet forward to the hands. Bring your hands to your hips, inhale, lengthen the spine, find that L shape. Pull your elbows together behind your back, and as you inhale, come all the way up to standing. Exhale, release the hands down by the sides of the body. So we'll find the book, continuing with our theme. We'll hold it between the hands as we've been doing. Take a quarter turn to face the long side of your mat and spread your legs apart wide. From deep within this right hip socket, right where we karate chopped, turn the entire right leg out. Angle the left toes in. We're preparing for a warrior two. Holding the book in both of your hands, lengthen the arms straight in front of you. And then inhale, lift them overhead. Lift those books to lengthen the sides of your waist. Take a breath in, keep that length. As you exhale, bend into your right knee. Inhale, straighten the right leg. Exhale, bend. Keep lifting through the side waists. Inhale, straighten. Last time we'll hold. Exhale, bend, and stay. Think about lifting up through the right and left sides of the waist and find an evenness in the length of the front side body and back side body. Next, inhale, breath, straighten the right leg. You might release your arms for a break. You might leave them up. Bring the feet to parallel, and we'll change sides. From the left hip socket, turn the left leg out, angle the right toes in. Lift up through the arms, lengthen both side waists. Keep that lift. Exhale, bend into the left knee. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend and hold. Lift up through the side waists. Even length in front and back body. Inhale, straighten. Release the arms down, parallel the feet. Let's place the book to this side. Bring your hands to your hips. And once more, from right inside this right hip socket, turn the right leg out, Angle the left toes in. Hands stay on the hips so we can still lengthen through the side waists. And this time as we exhale, we hinge right over this right hip crease like another karate chop, keeping the spine long. Inhale, come back to where you started. Exhale, hinge. No rounding through the spine, no overarching through the spine. Use an inhale breath to come up to where you started. This time we'll stay. Exhale, hinge. We're doing a variation on triangle pose. Now bring the left arm straight back behind you. Make it like a knife, straight at the elbow, palms facing down towards the ground. Roll the left shoulder back. Spine is long, especially this right side waist is long. Reach the right arm, palm face up in front of you. Use the reach of the right arm to lengthen the right side of the waist. If you've got the flexibility, maybe you hinge a little deeper without crunching into the right side of the waist. Bring your hands back to your hips. Press down into your left heel. Inhale, come up to standing. Parallel the feet, and we've got a second side. Turn the left leg out. Angle the right toes in. Lengthen up through the side waists. And as you exhale, hinge over that left hip, keeping your spine long. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, hinge. Inhale, return. Last time, hinge and hold. This time we reach the right arm back behind you. Roll the right shoulder back. Feel length through the spine and inhale to lift the left arm up, palm face up. Right palm is face down. Use the reach with the left arm to lengthen the left side of the waist. Press down through the right heel. Maybe hinge a little deeper without compromising the integrity of your spine. One more breath in. One more breath out. Release hands to the hips and inhale, come back up to standing. Parallel the feet. And now step your feet together. Hands can stay on the hips. We'll work on Vrikshasana or tree pose. If you need a little help with balancing, find a wall or a piece of furniture to catch you if you stumble. We'll start by balancing on the left leg. So shift your weight into the left foot, bend the right knee, and then turn the right knee out. Step the toes so that they're right in line with your heel, and check in with your waist. Has one of your hips, maybe that right hip, hiked up into the sky? Can you settle it down so both sides of your waist are even length? This is what we're prioritizing in this tree pose. So keep coming back, checking in with these side waists. You might choose to challenge your balance by placing the bottom of your foot on the shin, or maybe reaching down to grab your ankle and snugging your heel right up into the groin. No matter where you've chosen to put the foot, check back in with the length in the side waists and lower the foot if you need to. You can keep the hands on the hips or bring the arms forward as if you had the book between your palms, and inhale to bring the arms overhead. Use the arms to help you lengthen those side waists. Breathe into your back ribs, lift them off of the low back. Check back in with your hips. And we'll release. Hands to the hips, right foot to the floor. Bend and straighten the knees a few times. Shake it out. We'll change sides. Shift your weight into the right foot, bend the left knee, turn the left leg out. Step the toes back towards the heel and check in with their side waists. Stay here. Begin to place the sole of the foot somewhere higher up the leg without compromising the length, especially in that left side waist. And this is an experiment. Checking in with your body, being honest with yourself, accepting where you are and adjusting to find length in both side waists. You can leave the hands on the hips or bring the arms forward, shoulder height, and then inhale to lift the arms overhead. Imagine you had that book, you were squeezing it between the palms and lifting it up into the air to lengthen both side waists. Breathe. Bring the hands to the hips, release the left leg, bend and straighten a couple times. Now we'll step the feet back wide apart and then find both of your books, placing one in each hand. Hinge forward and bring the books to the floor, shoulder width distance apart. Press down into your feet. Lift the inner edge of lift the groins away from one another. And then reach your heart forward. Spine is long. Think about that karate chop sensation in the hip crease. Think about even length in the front side body and back side body. Breathe. Now here, if you've got the flexibility, you might get rid of the books and bring your palms flat down to the ground. And again, find that long spine. Find the long side waists. And just notice if your spine begins to round. And know that that's not always wrong. It's okay to round the spine a lot of the time. We're just picking up on what's going on in our bodies right now. And for the moment, working with a long spine and long side waists. Now you're welcome to stay here, or keeping the integrity in your legs, walk your hands back between the heels and let the spine round. Lift the top shoulders away from the floor. Breathe. Notice here what is sliding short, what is sliding long. Inhale back to your half lift position. Bring your hands back underneath shoulders and lengthen the spine. Grab your books if you need them. Pressing down through the feet, draw the sternum forward, hug the navel up towards the spine. Bring your hands to your hips. Draw your elbows together behind your back, and as you inhale, come all the way up to standing. Hop or step the feet together. Release your hands down by the sides of the body. Close your eyes and breathe. Notice if you feel any different standing here now than you did earlier on in your practice. Blink your eyes open, and then come to stand at the top of your mat. Same position, Tadasana. We'll take a chair pose. As you inhale, lift your arms overhead, bend your knees. Stay here. Lengthen through the side waists and find an even length through the front side body and back side body. Use the lift of your straight arms to lift the side waist even longer. Inhale. And as you exhale, fold forward. Bend the knees if you need to. Bring your hands to your outer shins. Inhale, come up halfway, flat back. Exhale, plant your hands and step back into plank pose. Hold your plank pose, inhale. As you exhale, knees come down to the ground and lower all the way down to the earth. Point back through the feet. Inhale, lift your heart, cobra pose. Exhale, downward facing dog. Long spine, long side waists. Breathe here. Inhale, shift forward into plank pose. Press back through your heels, reach your tailbone between the heels, and then reach your sternum forward between your fingers. Lengthen that spine. Press down through the feet, attempt to drag them apart. Feel those outer hips engage. Then reach length through your side waists. Bring the right knee down to the ground. Swing the right foot behind you to the right. Then pivot the left heel down to the ground. Lift your left arm up into the sky and open your chest to the left. Modification on Vrikshasana side plank. Here, lengthen that right side waist beneath you. For an extra challenge, you'll lift the right leg and place it right behind the left heel. Turn your left palm towards your head and lengthen the left arm overhead. Find even length through right and left side waist. One more breath in. And exhale, come back to plank pose. Knees come down to the ground. Sink back in a child's pose, hips to heels, forehead to the earth. Breathe here. Noticing the shape of your spine and letting it be just what it is. If you had any wrist pain in that last shape, you can make fists and place your knuckles down on the ground for the second side. Come back up to tabletop, hands and knees, and then find a plank pose. Any wrist pain, make those knuckles. Reach the heels back behind you. Point the tailbone between the heels. Reach the sternum forward and lengthen the side waist. Press down to the feet. Attempt to drag them apart. Feel those outer hips engaged. Keep that engagement even as you lower the left knee down to the ground and swing the left foot open to the left. As you inhale, right arm comes up into the sky, open the chest to the right. Swivel the right heel down to the ground. Lengthen both side waists. Stay here or lift that bottom leg to place the left toes right behind the right heel. Turn the right palm towards the head side and lengthen the right arm overhead. Both side waist long. Even length through front and back side body. Breathe. Last breath in to prepare you. And exhale, come back into plank pose. Inhale into your plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Stay here or go into a child's pose. Knees down to the ground, hips to heels, forehead to the earth. Find your breath. Soften into the shape that you're making. If you're in a child's pose, make your way back to downward facing dog. And look between your hands. Walk your feet forward. Hands to the outer shins. Inhale, lift up halfway. Find that flat back. Bring your hands to your hips. Pull the elbows together behind you. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Nice. So take a big step back with your left foot. Left toes are angled slightly forward. Turn the hips so that they're square to the front side of your mat. If you need to separate the feet from right to left for a little bit more balance, do so. Roll your shoulders back. Inhale, lengthen the side waist long, and exhale, hinge at the hips, keep the spine long, come down halfway. Shoulders still rolling back. Press down through the right heel. Reach the right hip further back behind you. Press down through the left heel and revolve the left hip forward and down. Spine is long. Check in with the right and left side waists. Do they feel even? If not, what can you do to help them feel even? Nothing's off the table. Try anything you need to. Experiment. We'll come out of this. Press down through your feet. Keep the spine long. Inhale, come back up to standing. Take a quarter turn to your left. Another quarter turn to your left. And now we're facing the second direction. Back right toes are angled slightly forward to the right. Adjust your feet so that you feel stable. Lengthen the side waists. Inhale and exhale, hinge forward, flat back. Press down through the left heel. Draw the left hip back. Press down through the right heel. Revolve the right hip forward. Notice your side waists and play around here. Breathe. Pressing down into your feet. Keep your back flat. Inhale, come back up to standing. And take a quarter turn to your right. So we'll come down to seated, and you'll need your blanket and your strap for this next set of poses. We'll be on the floor the rest of class. You might also need your books depending on your body. So first you'll take your blanket or your bath towel, and you'll place it behind you to sit up on top of. Lengthen your legs out in front of you. Flex back through the toes, so you're pulling the toes towards the face, and bring your fingertips behind you. Roll your shoulders back. Press down into the fingertips to help you lengthen those side waists. Never a mystery where we're going in class, especially by this point in the journey. Now you can really use your hands behind you to help you find that length through the spine. And if you're finding that your low back is rounding, that it's sliding long, that you're flexing through the spine, which you might be a little more aware of now after class, that means you need to sit up on something a little bit higher. So you could take your books and stack them, place them underneath the blanket to make your platform higher, and then come back to this Dandasana staff pose. If your side waists are long and you feel this nice L shape with the ground, grab opposite elbows like genie arms and inhale to lift them overhead. Notice which forearm is in top. You'll switch it in a moment. Lengthen those side waists. Descend the legs down. Release the arms, lift them up to the sky, and then grab opposite elbows with the other forearm on top. Lengthen the side waist, descend the thighs. Might be surprising how much work just this simple shape is. Bring the arms back to the sky. Exhale to release out through a T. And we'll take Baddha Konasana from here. So bend the knees, bring the soles of the feet together, and let the knees open wide. Again, fingertips behind you. Roll the shoulders back and lengthen the spine, lengthen the side waists. And here again, it's important to check in with the front side body and the back side body. Do you feel an even length, or is one sliding short and one sliding long? Find an evenness. It's in your own sensing of your body And it's not uncommon to have no idea what you feel. So if that's you, just take note of that too. Your yoga practice will change that. Now, if you do have that long back and you feel you don't need the support of your arms, we'll try again. Genie arms, grab opposite elbows, and inhale, lift the arms overhead. Descend the legs, but lift and lengthen the spine. Breathe. Inhale, bring the arms overhead. Exhale, separate or bring the palms back to the elbows. Other forearm on top. Breathe. Descending the lower half of the body while lifting the spine, floating the crown. Inhale, separate the arms, bring fingertips to the sky. Exhale, release the hands behind you. Now either stay here, or if you've got the flexibility, we bring the fingertips to the floor in front of you. As long as you can keep this spine long, we take that karate chop hinge right at the hips and fold forward. And when I say fold forward, I don't mean round forward. So a lot of bodies don't go very far at all. Breathe. Check in with the length of the front side body and back side body. Inhale, come back up, shoulders over the hips. Bring your hands underneath the knees. Bring the knees together. And we'll change our position to a twist. So I'll turn to face you. You'll slide your hips off of your heels and over to the left, so that now both of the feet are off to the right side of the body. Take your blanket, place it underneath just the left buttocks. So the right buttocks is falling down towards the floor. Now we'll twist to the left. Bring the right hand to the outer left knee, the left hand behind you. Now in this twist, we're in a more complex shape in the body. Can you feel an evenness to the length of the right and left side waists and the front and back side of the body? Breathe. Come back to center. And we'll change sides. Now both of their feet are off to the left. You'll slide your blanket underneath the right buttocks only, so the left buttocks falls down towards the ground. Probably doesn't land on the ground, it doesn't need to. And we'll twist over to the right. Left hand on the outer right knee, right hand behind you. Play around with the length in the side waists and the front and back side body. Smooth your breath out. And come back to center. And we'll sit back on the blanket or whatever your platform has been. Bring the legs out in front of you and find your strap. You might need to bend your knees to slide your strap around the balls of your feet and then straighten your legs. Now we can use the strap to roll the shoulders back, pull it towards us to lift and lengthen the spine and the sideways. Keeping the spine long, crawl the hands down the strap. Arms are straight. In a moment, we'll fold into this shape. We'll let the spine round, but for now, keep the spine long. Descend your outer hips and lengthen the side waists. Reach your sternum towards the feet to hinge a little deeper. And if you'd like, round forward, allowing the spine to round. Fold into the shape. Notice what is sliding short, what is sliding long. Smooth out your breath. Settle in. A few more moments. So if you are folding, it's important we reverse out the way we went in. So first we straighten the spine. Use an inhale breath to reach the sternum towards the toes and lengthen the back. Lengthen the side waists. Another inhale breath, lift shoulders up over the hips. Release the strap off to the side. Let's set your blanket off to the side and come to lying down on your back as we began, with the knees bent and the feet on the floor. Bring your palms face up along the sides of the body. Tuck your shoulders underneath you. Notice how the backside of your body is spreading in the earth. You can adjust where your feet are in space for optimal comfort. Surrender the weight of your body to the earth. And just as we began, a few more rounds of pelvic tilt. As you exhale, you'll flatten the low back to the ground. Inhale to arch it away. Continue with your breath and notice. Is anything different from the beginning of class? Then find a neutral place. Even length through front side body and back side body. We'll find that supine walking once more. Press down into the right foot and reach the right knee forward. Switch sides, pressing left foot down, reach left knee forward. Let the hips rock as you walk it out. Changing sides at your own pace. Get out of the way of the natural movement. And notice. Finish on your left side. And come back to the center. Pull both of your knees into the chest. Give them a hug. Bring your arms out to a T, palms face up. Inhale. And exhale, twist the knees over to the right. Gaze over your left arm. Take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. Find your abdominal muscles. Hug the belly in. Bring the knees back to center. Use your exhale to drop them over to the left. Turn your head over to the right. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Find those belly muscles. Bring the knees back to center. Place the feet down on the ground one at a time. And then slide the legs long. If you're more comfortable with the knees bent, stay that way. Draw the arms down along the sides of the body, palms face up. And rest in your final Shavasana. Nothing to do here. Just turning off your mind. Letting your body integrate all of the work it's just done. A visceral, embodied experience. Centered in what is true. Absorbing the change. I'll leave you here. Rest as long as you like. And when you're ready, you'll slowly return to a seated position before heading back to your day. Thanks for sharing your practice. Please let me know if you have any questions. Bye.